is a Dragon Blazer production, and I am the little Boogeyman.
All right.
Coming down the aisle, it's the podcast tag team champions of the world,
The Rage and Blaze Show.
Let's get the show started then. This is another exciting episode of the Rage and Blaze Show. I'm Rage.
And I'm Blaze.
And we have a very special guest with us today, Chris Hollyfield. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing great, guys. You know, other than COVID-19 that we're all dealing with, other than that, I'm doing great. And yeah, just moving forward, man, with life and trying to dodge it, and we all are.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, just, living life, man, just trying to move forward, try to change some lives on the way of my journeys, because I'm a firm believer of that, because it's not just about me, it's about other people as well. We don't have that with everybody, but that's, kind of my lifestyle of, like, as long as I'm changing my life, I want to change other people's lives on the way.
Definitely.
Yeah, from what we've talked about, you've already doing some pretty awesome stuff just 20 minutes ago, right?
Yeah, exactly. Working with my Special Olympic athletes. We started a powerlifting team for we had about 15, and then COVID shut it down, so the numbers are down because a lot of parents are a little nervous still about them coming to the gym and social distancing. So
Yeah,
we work with what we have. We have about like 5 or 6 now. So
Okay.
Once this is back to whatever norm that we go back to, that hopefully the rest of the athletes will start coming back.
Yeah.
And I think they will. I mean, it's such a crazy time in our world today, and hopefully somebody has an answer. If you're listening, you have an answer, please send it to the Rage and Blaze Show. We'll get it out there for you. But that would be awesome. To go back to normal life
Yeah.
would just be incredible. We just came back from Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Okay.
And everybody's wearing masks. It's just so different.
It's so different.
We had to get away, So,
Yeah.
well,
I feel you on that.
yeah. So let's get started so what got you into wrestling? Was you a wrestling fan growing up and got into it, or did it just kind of naturally happen?
It's twofold, because I was a fan.
Okay.
And what happened, I was because I wrestled in high school, and I was I was decent. Yeah, because my senior year I was 21-4, and I got beat by the same guy 3 times. I owned him in my junior year. I owned him. My senior year, he owned me, because what he did is, yeah, he did, because he technically watched my style, and what he did, me being short statured, he worked my legs. So he didn't go upper body with me, because you come upper body with me, it's a wrap. You put yourself in a danger zone. So he chose. He says, "Well, wow, I can't beat him up top. I beat him on the ground," and that's how he would beat me. He would, and him being longer and lankier than me. It's like it's hard to control lanky guys, because when you try to grab an ankle and they spread out on you, and these little arms, these little Tourette's arms, that ain't gonna work. It's just not gonna work out for you. But getting into the business, my junior year, I saw a magazine. It had Haiti Kid, Little Beaver, and Little Mr. T, and maybe Cowboy Lane. And then, these are old school. These are way back old school guys. And Little Tokyo and Laura Little Brook. And they were talking. They did a little story on the little guys, and I was like, oh. And I saw Haiti Kid, and I said, man. And in my mind, I said, man, I'll beat all those guys right now. I'll beat those guys on the mat right now. So what happened was I said, man, I think I want to get into wrestling, man. I said, because it gave me that. I'm like, well, these guys are doing it, and I know I'm more athletic than these guys because I'm sitting like, shoot. I said, I'm flexing. I'm like, shoot, I can do this. So senior year came, was going towards the end of the school year. A rival wrestling coach from another school, he called my coach and he says, hey, send Chris down to the gym tonight. We're having pro wrestling. And I went up the road, went down to see the wrestling. It was Florida Championship Wrestling. Okay. And this was back in the Gordon Soley days. And Lex Luger was kind of breaking in, he was in the independents. And Lex Luger was featured at that match. And there was a promoter by the name of Don Miller. And he had the territory, in Florida. He had the Florida territory. So I got introduced to him. And he gave me Lord Littlebrook's number. And it went from there. I called Lord Littlebrook because we had to go through, in the era that I came into wrestling in '87, we had to go through Lord Littlebrook as the little guys. If you went through Lord Littlebrook, you were gonna be able to, get your name out there, get in that circuit, because Vince would call Lord Littlebrook when he needed little guys.
Oh, okay.
See, he would call Lord Littlebrook. I mean, he kind of had that, like, boom. Hey, Littlebrook.
He was the representative, yeah.
Yeah, he was that guy. So not only did he use his sons to wrestle, because Karate Kid, Kato, was one of his sons that actually wrestled, and eventually his other son, Beautiful Bobby, started wrestling. But Bobby was a lot younger than the time, because here I am, I'm 19 years old.
Right.
I just I'm going to community college right now. I went my first semester and I was like, boom, I'm gone. I'm going to St. Joe, Missouri, and I'm gonna get on this wrestling tip. So that's how it came about. And I went to St. Joe, and Kato, little Karate Kid, he picked me up from the airport, and we went to small little town, St. Joseph, Missouri. And I mean, small little town. You're like, St. Joe, Missouri, what's that? You didn't even know if it was a city. You're like, St. Joe, Missouri, what's that? So went out there, and then that's when I met little Mr. T and Bad Boy Brown and Lord Littlebrook, Little Tokyo, Cowboy Lane, and we started training.
Yeah, I think if I remember right, didn't we see Little Tokyo in one of the WrestleManias during that 6-man tag match?
I'd have to go back and look. There was I think WrestleMania 2.
Yeah, it was way back. Yeah, because way back. Yes,
we've only seen 4 of the WrestleManias so far. We're still just starting out our show.
Okay.
We've probably seen more of that. We've only done 4 shows of WrestleMania. We're wrestling fans, so we've watched.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I get it.
I think we saw Little Tokyo. So who was your favorite wrestler growing up? You said you were a fan of wrestling. Who was your favorite guy?
Junkyard Dog.
Oh
yeah. There you go.
Rage has nothing but love for Junkyard Dog. Every time he's on the screen, he's loving it.
That was my wrestling nickname in my sophomore year. JYD.
Really? JYD.
Yes.
Nice.
JYD. And
you do the barking and everything?
No, I didn't bark, but I just I just had
Uh-oh.
Man,
it just paused.
Yeah. We lost him somehow. Well, we will get them back, folks. Technical difficulties.
Like the way Dusty Rhodes talks.
We just lost you for a second.
Are you okay?
It seems like it's trying to break through. Oh, now it's not.
No, you're froze again. If you can hear us,
I don't think he can hear us.
I don't think so.
He
either.
was just going through.
There you are.
Am I back?
You're back.
Yeah.
Such a,
So we asked you about your favorite wrestler. You just started talking about JYD. I remember asking you about did you bark, and
Yeah.
then you kind of
no,
froze.
I didn't bark, but I had his swag though. I had the junkyard. I had his swag, but I didn't bark, and I didn't have the big heavy chain around my neck.
Chain with you?
No chain. But I used to. I would watch his matches, and then boy, it got me pumped up for my high school wrestling matches.
There you go.
So we know you were in WWE. We've been watching a lot of your footage. We watched you as Booker T, as Little Boogeyman, and on the Juror when Hornswoggle sues DX.
Yeah, little People's Court. Yeah.
People's Court.
Yeah.
Did you know any of those guys with you?
I knew all those guys.
Are they all wrestlers or?
Yeah, because we had Chip, which Chip was a wrestler, and the one guy that kind of like sat next to me, little Dave, Dave the Dwarf. He was not a wrestler.
Oh, okay.
He was a radio personality, but behind me with the glasses was Pitbull Patterson. He was a wrestler. We wrestled a lot of independent stuff together, and those other guys, they did a lot of independent things, and that was pretty much one of their first, for the most part, their first time on WWE.
Okay. See, we were just curious because we watched the segment. I saw everyone was curious if you knew any of them and everything like that.
You kind of get to know everybody from afar. Some of them you make friendships with, because Pitbull Patterson, Jeff, the guy in the back with the glasses, when you go back and watch the video, him and I have been friends, over 20-something odd years, because, well, close to 30 really, because he came after me training with Lord Littlebrook. So he came after me, and and the funny thing about that is, like, we're such a hit and miss, the little guys. It's a hit and miss. It's the luck of the draw. It really is, because it's whatever they're looking for at the time, and if it sparks Vince and then the writers, and if they got a storyline behind it, okay, you're in. But for how long, you don't know.
Yeah,
right.
You don't know.
Not everybody seems to stick around like Hornswoggle. He seemed to have. He was and when you look at all the wrestling, because he had a 10-year ride, and that's not the norm for little guys. Definitely. That's not the. He was blessed. Yeah.
He was blessed. To ride that train that long, because but I knew going in as Little Boogeyman that it was going to be short-lived, and that's no pun intended. I knew it was going to be short-lived, because when you're a character like that, it's like any day you could be gone.
Yeah.
So bringing up Little Boogeyman, let's talk about that. The worms, man.
Yeah.
Come on. How is that?
That the worms, it's funny because people always ask me when I travel around the country speaking at schools, and they always ask me where those was it gummy worms and stuff like that. I said, no, those were.
There's no way those were gummy. They were moving around.
Oh,
I did not question that at all.
And people would question that, and I was like, did you actually see the video? Those were not. That was real. So, the worms. It's funny because my very first match was in Seattle, and they were asking me if I wanted to rehearse it. I said, nah, I'm just going to put them in my mouth.
Do it.
I'm just going to do it. And and boom, I put them in my mouth. And because, like, they clean them off for you, and then they'd be like on ice. They'll be cool,
Okay.
And boy, I tell you, when they hit your mouth, it was, it's like, like almost like alpha salsa hitting water. They dry up so fast from your saliva. I mean, it was like, whoa, where'd they go? And and when they dry up, they get wild in your mouth. They get to move. It's like they need that moisture, and it just that Slava just kind of, I don't know, just draws them up, and they get to going. You moving your tongue around,
Yeah.
Hey, get back over here, because it's not like you can get your fingers and move them around, because you're in character. So
Yeah.
So yeah,
Wow.
and it just was from that point. It was just all she wrote. You just
Yeah.
put them in your mouth, and people thought they like, oh man, you put worms in your mouth, you're nasty. I hope you brush your teeth after that.
Hey, I would do it if I got on WWE myself, so I don't blame you.
Exactly.
I'm for it. I'm for it.
Exactly.
So did Boogeyman kind of give you any advice before you put it in your mouth, or did
He said just don't swallow them.
just don't swallow?
That was the only thing he said.
It's good advice.
He said don't swallow them, because you talking about, you'd be in the office quite a bit if you swallow them.
So I'm sure that you didn't just wrestle as Booker T and Boogeyman. What other promotions were you in, and what was your main gimmick or main wrestling persona in those promotions?
But my main gimmick was Little Boogeyman. That was my biggest ever. That was the biggest, because when I first came in with Lord Littlebrook, I was Little Tiger.
Little Tiger.
Yeah. That was grand opening, grand closing. That was like, nobody knows about Little Tiger. I had leopard little shorts, print, leopard print.
Yeah.
And that was it. And then I was on the independent circuit, and I don't even know, it was just different promoters that would call Lord Littlebrook, and we would do a lot of, the fairgrounds, state fairs. And when that happened, I was like, man, this is not what I signed up for. I'm ready to go to, I'm ready to go to the big dance, to the big show. This is not what I signed up for. I didn't leave like college for that, Shoot, I'm like, what's this all about? And it was just different, because you shared hotel rooms, you drive. WWE, no. We you get your own room, you fly. It's just a totally different.
I bet.
Totally, immensely, totally different. Where you go to these arenas, and we have crafts. Go to the craft room where all the food is at, and I mean food. I mean like buffet style, food. Independent shows, you better stop at McDonald's before you get there.
Get yourself a Big Mac.
Yeah. You better stop and get you something to eat before you get there. Because if you get there, independent show, think you're going to get something, it might have little chips and maybe a couple cold cuts of a hoagie, and it's totally
I'm sure.
different situation. And the funny thing about that is that I was wrestling for a long time before these gimmicks even came about in my life. Matter of fact, when they came about, I wasn't even wrestling. I wasn't even thinking about wrestling.
Huh. So how did you get the call? If you were out of wrestling, how did this come about?
Because you got social media. Okay. You got social media, and then we were just into AOL. AOL, how big that was, and then little chat rooms and stuff like that. So, remind you, other wrestlers knew that were still wrestling. They were say, hey, we're looking for an African American little person to do this. So it was
for
like,
the Booker T.
Yeah, well, and exactly for Booker, and so one wrestler to the next contacted me, and it was like, hey, would you be interested in wrestling for WWF? Because that's what it was.
Yeah.
During that time, and then they called me, and I went to Sacramento and did the little Booker T gimmick, and it was cool because I got to work with The Rock.
Yeah, how was that?
See, I got to work with him, and it was so funny because I didn't want to be a mark, and I didn't want to be a fan. I didn't want to do any of those things. when I met him. But I really wanted to say something, more than, other than thank you, appreciate you, type of deal. I wanted to really I wanted to get a picture. And you remind you, we had the little the little wind up Kodak.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had that, and excuse me. I wanted to get a picture. Bad man. I want to get, but I never asked him for a picture because I just didn't know if he would still respect me as the guy I was. I see you. You're a star. And I wanted this for memories, but I just didn't. I said, man, I don't want to bother him because a lot of people were, asking him, talking to him and stuff. But I will say this: a lot of people don't know this. So you guys are getting some, information that a lot of people don't know about. When we were going over the match, it was Pat Patterson and a couple other guys, Lance Storm, and a couple other people in the room. We were going over the match, and they wanted to do that clowny stuff and wanted me to go underneath the Rock's legs and turn around and like bite him on the bum and he'll do the little going around in a circle type thing.
Rooney. It was a hell of a Rooney. Oh,
no.
Oh, circling around him. Okay.
Circling around with me looks like I'm biting him on the bum.
Right. Yeah.
And he says, no, that's not happening. He says, I'm not going to degrade him nor myself, but and he said it. And man, you don't know how I felt inside. I was like, yes, thank you, Rock. I said, thank you, man. I said, because I was never a fan of that.
Right.
I was never a fan of going through the legs. That's a high spot for little guys. I didn't like it. I thought me personally, I always thought it was garbage. I always thought it was garbage. Biting somebody on the bum. Would you do that out? That it's becomes a freak show more or less than that's not wrestling. That's not even funny.
I'm glad to find out that I still can love The Rock.
It's just like that was not funny at all. So he said that, and I was so thankful, and I was like, man, I want to get a picture with this guy, but I didn't get a chance to get a picture with him. Now, after I did the whole scene with The Rock and all that stuff, I saw Booker T afterwards, and we got a picture because he says, man, you killed the Spinneroonie on
I agree.
On the first. He said you killed it, and that was the first go around. It was just like when I tried to do it afterwards. It was just everything just happened. It was just perfect, and boom, I did the Spinneroonie, and he says, "Oh, brother, you killed it, man. Thank you. And
awesome.
Because in the wrestling business, everything is brother. Brother.
Wonder who started that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think there's
some guy. I think
there's
he
a guy
had some
that might have
yellow
started
trunks.
that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that happened, and then that was like the last go around for me for years, years in between.
2007.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So it just like, and I wasn't even wrestling like that. Every now and then somebody would call me, and I would go based on if Jeff, because like I said, Jeff Patterson, Pitbull Patterson, he was a friend of mine. So I would go because of the simple fact that it gave us a time, because he lives in Arizona and I'm in Florida. So he gave us time to hang out and be buddies, and him and I would wrestle each other. And it didn't matter who won or who didn't win, who was baby, who was heel. It didn't matter. This gave us a weekend, guys' weekend,
I
So
support that.
Yeah. So that's basically when I would wrestle. It's like, who's wrestling? Who am I wrestling? And it said, I saw call Jeff to see if he's available. And then that's when every now and then we'll do shows together. Otherwise, I wasn't thinking about wrestling because I was getting older and my mind was going somewhere totally different because on the trail of independent wrestling and then to WWEF and WWE, it's like it's a lot of nasty things that happen in between, you know. And I'm sure you know the business is not you know, it's not like the NFL or the NBA. You got choices of teams that could draft you. When you know when you step everything aside, wrestling, you either have the main core or you have, you know, the
independence,
the civic centers and independents that, you know, you hope that the promoter don't jack you on your money. Come on, oh, we didn't do so well, and all of this extra. Well, I paid for your plane fare, and now that, you know, that cost me, and almost trying to throw the airfare into your pay.
right?
Like, no, brother, no, you know, we agreed on this. You know, I want to get that. You know, because anything less, you know, I'm losing.
Right.
You know, I'm the one that drove to the airport. I'm the one that got my car parked, or you know, for a couple of days at the airport, paying those extra, you know, those fees and whatnot. That wasn't included in what you were going to pay me.
Right.
You know, so when you know with WWE, that was totally different ball game. You know, just totally different ball game. So, you know, with the ups and downs of wrestling, I got turned off fast. Because me and Lord Littlebrook, God bless his soul, he passed away a few years ago. Him and I, we butted heads. We butted heads just for the simple fact, we butted heads because I had to do the sunset flip, and we was training, and I did the sunset flip, did it good first time, boom, 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 and then second time, I went over and landed right on like side of my neck. I mean, like bam, you know, and I was like, and I just felt it. And I said, woo. And he says, get up and do it again. I said, I think I need to you know, take, you know, like let this fear let me overcome this fear. As a matter of fact, it was Lil Tokyo.
Oh, really?
He was the one, Lil Tokyo one. He says, do it again. You know, because Tokyo was Asian. So do it again. Do it again. I said, do it again. You know, and he was getting pissed at me. And I said, hey, guy, I said, I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling this. And then that was kind of the breakup with Lord Littlebrook and I because of the sunset flip. That was the breakup, you know, where we went, you know, he was like, well, you know, brother, if you can't listen and you can't do what you're asked told. I said, it wasn't a matter of me not doing what I was told. I'm hurt. I'm hurt right now.
Yeah.
My confidence is not there now. You know, so let's come back. Let's come back tomorrow. You know, over and over and over, and then I'm sitting over there like, you know, like, oh, you know, it was painful. It just went straight down, and that's kind of where I end up leaving Lord Littlebrook, and I moved out of Lord Littlebrook's house and went on to Bad Boy Brown's place for a while, and tried to make some connections, and you know, from that point, and then after a while, I said, well, you know, I'm gonna go back home. You know, I'm gonna go back to Florida and regroup, and that's pretty much, you know, what happened. And you know, and you'll hear stories in wrestling. You know, wrestling is such a roller coaster that you don't know when you're gonna go up, and then you sure don't even know the hell when you're gonna go down, and I mean down fast, because it's like again, like I was saying earlier, it's not like the NBA, the NFL. You know, you guys say, hey guys, you know, I'm a free agent. You know, and if the promoters don't know who you are because you haven't wrestled long enough, and it's not like they have your number, you know, where now we got social media. You know, if you're in the independents, you know, you could throw your number on online and tell people, hey, I'm a wrestler, I'm looking for work, you know, and people can find you. But it was in my era, you know, it was a word of mouth. It was definitely a word of mouth, and and I don't know if Lord Littlebrook ever even mention anything about me as a whole, like, hey, don't use this guy. I don't know, because you don't. But as time went by and social media became larger, people got to find out more about you. And so you can kind of like wrestling promoters, hey, you're a little person, you wrestle? Yeah, and I mean, it just picked up with social media. And that's pretty much how my gigs came about. It's through, through social media, people looking for, hey, we're looking for African-American wrestler, little person. So it's like, who fits? Boom.
Right.
Because, the funny thing, if you check the history, and I just thought about this the other night, it dawned on me. Now, there was Little Mr. T, and I think Little Bobo Brazil, Haiti Kid, and Little Boogeyman. I think there was only 4 African-American little people wrestlers that was kind of recognized.
Wow.
And then when you look at it, none of those guys are living but me.
Oh.
Yeah. And this just dawned on me the other day when I was just like, just thinking about it, and I was like, wow, because I was saying, what's historical about the Little Boogeyman right now? Well, out of all the little African American wrestlers that made it, like a character name that made it, that was in the encyclopedias, that's part of WWE's history.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Little Boogeyman.
Wow,
it's awesome.
And you like, I was like, hey, where's my notoriety? No, but it dawned on me, and it was just kind of it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Because it really wasn't a whole lot of us in the first place. If you go, even if you're looking at I don't know if you guys ever looked in the different encyclopedias of WWE's. I know I'm in 2 of them because I just did the big event in March where, you have it's like a WrestleCon. You have all these different wrestlers come in and, and they do all the autograph signings and photos and stuff like that. And quite a few people came up and got their book signed. So I'm in 2 of the encyclopedias. And so, when you look back at that, it's like, wow, you've actually made history with WWE. You made history per se.
Yeah.
And it and not many of us of little people are actually in that magazine. Little Beaver, Laura Little Brook, Haiti Kid, Hornswoggle, myself, and those guys from Mexico, the little guys from Mexico, with the ones with the horn. I don't know what
the luchadors.
Yeah, those guys, and that's about it. That's actually in that magazine. Not magazine, in that encyclopedia.
Right. But that's a heck of an accomplishment. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, to be ingrained in the history of the WWE, and if you want to be known in history of wrestling, it's the WWE. That's who you want to be known for, because
yes.
I mean, there's been other promotions,
yes.
but they've all came and gone. Some of them are trying right now.
Yes.
But WWE seems to be the one that's here to stay. If you want to play football, you want to play in the NFL. If you want to wrestle, you want to wrestle in the WWE, right?
Exactly.
So that's amazing to have your name engraved with those guys. Like, and you got to do it with some of the greatest.
Yes.
I was just looking at some names, and I had to write it down just so I didn't forget. I mean, you wrestled with Hornswoggle. You did work with Boogeyman, Finley, Shawn Michaels, Triple H.
Shawn Michaels is actually one of our favorite wrestlers.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels is my favorite of all time.
Okay.
Big Show, Chris Jericho, and my gosh, The Rock,
who's one of the biggest stars in Hollywood right now.
Well, beyond wrestling, The Rock is just an icon. I mean,
he's an icon, iconic. Yeah. And then I got body slam by Mark Henry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot to write Mark Henry down. I apologize. You did. You got punished
Yeah.
by him too.
Punched by him, world's strongest. So
World's strongest man. Yeah.
so I got to work with him, and I did a one episode with TNA.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, they did I did a what's that? What they call him, Black Motif.
I never really watched TNA. So.
I used to watch it when they were still doing their shows in Orlando.
Right. When he the one that played like the Macho Man.
Oh, Jay Lethal.
Jay Lethal, yes.
Jay Lethal. He used to do the he basically pretended to be Macho Man.
Yeah. Black Motif or something like that. I did a gimmick like him. Came out, had the same type of outfit on. I did a one hit quitter, one night stand with them. They called me in, and I was trying to like get on with them.
Oh, really?
But and I kept trying to get Marty to come over. I said, hey man, let's go to TNA, and we'll just be different. We won't be able to be Boogeyman and Little Boogie. I said, but let's we do something else. He felt that I'm gonna stick it out with WWE because now he's on a legend contract now, but he just felt like I'm not gonna leave the hand that fed me or whatever. So he was I guess if you want to say loyal to them.
That's good.
And he just never switch over, because I thought that if he would have wanted to go, they probably would have picked us up as a pair.
Right.
But like solo, I wasn't gonna get over there. So, and I knew that.
Right.
So, and it was one of those things, because I said, like I wouldn't mind having, a last dance, one last dance or whatever, for a year or so, and but it didn't pan out. But I wasn't like heartbroken about it. It wasn't like I was like, oh man, I got to do this. No, I just felt like, can I run this energy that I had from Lord Boogeyman over to, TNA, for one more year or two of television time to keep you out there. So as a motivational speaker, when you go to schools, everybody knows who you are. They're like, oh wow, you're on this, that, and because the kids like that,
right?
And the kids like that, and even the younger kids know about me, even though a lot of them weren't even born, is because of social media.
Yeah.
Right.
They when I go to elementary schools, you got to look at it. These kids are, 10 years old, and it's like, well, it's, you wrestled 11, 12 years ago, so, but with the internet and the WWE network.
Yeah, that's huge.
So with that being said, that allows me as, about, hey, you're the Little Boogeyman. It keeps you out there and keeps you somewhat relevant, to wrestling fans. They know of you per se, and which was a good thing.
Yeah, we really couldn't even do our show without WWE Network. That platform gives us the opportunity to go and rewatch all these shows. So, yes. and it definitely helped us with our interview with you, because I actually remember you as Little Boogeyman, but it was kind of like I had to remember it type of thing. So I was able to get on WWE Network, Google when the stuff happened, and we were able to watch all the clips. And that's a heck of a way for us to be able to interact instead of just trying to remember something that happened 10 years ago. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
So it helps.
I cheated. I just searched Little Boogeyman. They just sent me all the clips, all the matches you were in. I watched all your clips. I watched a couple of your matches. We watched the Fit Finley and Hornswoggle match.
No Way Out. You were at a pay-per-view, man.
No Way Out.
Pay-per-view. That's it's a big deal.
Yeah, that was nice. And then WrestleMania too, because we did that small skit with Donald Trump.
Oh,
yeah. I watched that where you came out. You and Boogeyman came out behind Donald Trump. Donald Trump did not give a crap. He was not scared at all.
No. And it's funny, he just the way he was on set, he's the way he is right now. So it's like, and I'll tell you a story, and again, a lot of people don't know about it because they weren't there. We were shooting that, and we only did one take. And in production, when you do something off screen, they normally do 2 or 3 takes just to have, backup.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys know, you're doing the podcast, you edit stuff. So as much stuff you can have, that's how you can, put stuff together. So we did one take, and within that one take, they said, well, let's do another one. And he says, no. He says, you guys do whatever you do. I'm going back to my green room. And it was like, the production manager was looking around like, oh, what the hell? Like, that's not how we do this. But they didn't want to push his buttons. And he called the production guy, got Vince on the walkie-talkie, and Vince came down to our set.
No, did not succeed.
Well, that wasn't a good. He says, "We're at WrestleMania. Damn it! What the hell's going on? What did I hire you for? You're the production manager." And he says, "Well, Donald said he was done. Said he was done." And Vince was like, and he didn't bother him. It was like we didn't retake anything. Because Trump said, just whatever y'all's, just, how y'all do work that stuff, just get my best side. And because, the production manager says, hey, let's do another one. He says, well, here's Donald. He's talking about like, well, I think it went fine. But dude, you're not the production manager on this set. What they saw and what they were, they might've been looking for something like, hey, let's get another angle. But now he said, we're done. and you didn't see him no more until the shaving the head part come out, till they came out. But yeah, man, it was crazy. Wow. And I was like, wow, man, I got to see the Vince. You know what I'm saying? I got to see the super hot Vince. So I was like, man. I was telling myself, I said, man, Donald better not get me fired, man, because I ain't messed with that, man. I said, you better not get me fired, dude. I was like, you've been a real clown right now. I said, yeah. So you're really clowning right now, because I said, I don't want this to end, because I've always wanted to be, when I know I was going into wrestling, I always wanted to be a part of WrestleMania. I don't know what.
Oh yeah, that's the dream. That's the dream.
Yeah, and to be able to partake in it, because all the wrestlers go to WrestleMania. That's on the roster. But not all of them make it on the set of like actually doing something. Wow. I knew we weren't probably going to wrestle when Hornswoggle was part of Money in the Bank. I knew. I was like, oh wow, if he's part of that. And when I was seeing his skit, because Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Ken Kennedy, he did a slam. He slammed him from the back, put him on his back, and then went off that ladder. I mean, it was a big pop for Hornswoggle. Me personally, I wouldn't want to have done it.
No, I can imagine.
Yeah, I like my feet to touch the ground as much as possible, and that ain't that often if I'm sitting in a chair. You know what I'm saying? so let alone to be on a 20-foot ladder, and go all. It might have been a 30-foot. Man, it was high. Yeah, it was high. I'm like. Nah, I said, I give you props, dog. I give you props. You did your thing. You did your thing. I'm looking at any little mistake. Nobody's gonna worry about like, oh, he's really messed up now. I was like, nah. I said I wasn't in the business to get jacked up to where I'm not walking or I wasn't looking. That's why I was always careful about like certain things, because the great Khali one time Pat Patterson asked me, would you be okay with him choke slamming you? I said, nah, this dude, he didn't kill a couple wrestlers before, you know. I was like, no, no, I won't be okay with that. You know, if you're not Hornswoggle size, you're not choke slamming me, because that's not a fault. You know, you can't get me that high, you know. But I ain't got up there like boom and mess around and throw you down on nah.
I don't blame you. I have acrophobia. Not a fan of heights either.
You know, so I wasn't. I said, nah. I said, man, that would be a big pop. But man, look on the other side of it. I'm out.
Yeah, I'm good. Well, at least you got your WrestleMania moment by annoying Donald Trump. So there's that.
Exactly.
And hopefully, I'm hoping that someday you get to be in the Hall of Fame.
You know, that would be kind of cool. That would be kind of
That'd be awesome. We will be
haven't
bragging about it.
Yeah, haven't fact checked this yet, but I don't think there is a little person in the Hall of Fame, is there?
No.
I would guess Hornswoggle would go first.
Would
Sorry,
probably.
But yeah,
No,
Hornswoggle would likely go first.
He go because you know he had that 10-year ride.
Right.
You know,
yeah, that 10-year ride.
So he's only, I mean, like he went in, he was only 19, 20. So so he, you know, when he gets about my age, because I'm 53, so it's my age, he might be in it by that time. You know, he just might be.
He might.
It'd be a big success for little wrestling, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that would be a huge deal.
It would. And I think as far as the little guys go, I think that run is pretty much over with. I think it's I think it's because if you look at it since then, there's never been like, you know, they haven't. Just imagine if they did a reunion like Fit Finlay, Hornswoggle, myself, you know, one time, you know, just something just to rock the crowd, like unexpected.
Yeah.
You know that. You know, it's like those days are, you know, pretty much over with. I could, you know, I can't say I know for a fact, but I just think that it's come to an end.
Yeah. Well, that's too bad. But and really, I mean, Boogeyman's been. I think he's done wrestling. Finley, I don't think he wrestles anymore.
No, I think he. I think more of like appearances, you know, autograph signings and stuff like that.
Well,
you know,
Hornswoggle kind of transcended Fit Finlay. I mean, Hornswoggle still was showing up around way after Fit Finlay got released from the WWE.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
I mean, he did that whole thing with DX in 2009. So he became his own character. He got to be his own character.
Yeah, he got to be his own character because he held the title for a second, the cruiserweight title.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got to do that for, you know, and then the unlegitimate son of Vince McMahon, you know, he had little angles, and
he was Raw.
And I knew
he was general manager of Raw at one time.
Yeah. So, and I knew once our character, you know, we can't talk, and really we didn't have no talking perspective. So it's like you're such in a small box, and it's like you're limited. And once you're limited, you know, realize that your storyline is going to come to an end.
Now, is there a rule there? Why don't they let you guys talk? Because
they did a little bit with Hornswoggle.
Yeah, Hornswoggle,
and then he stopped talking and started doing the grunting or whatever. Like, because we watched the No Way Out pay-per-view, and he's talking to Fit Finlay about how he's scared of you. So
right.
He used to talk.
Yeah. So with the humanized characters, they can go mute, or they can talk. You know, us, other than that part that when me and Hornswoggle was going to do our match, and Boogeyman says, "Are you ready?" Let me get, you know, and he puts worms. You know, he was getting me pumped up, and all I was doing was like, and he was putting worms in my mouth, you know, feeding me worms, and you know the Donald Trump part when he says, Trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat. I'm the boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you. Then that was the end of the dialogue. It was never like,
Yeah, Boogeyman didn't talk much.
like it was nothing like, hey, boogeyman, little boogeyman, how do you feel about tonight's match?
Yeah.
We never, we didn't have that. And when you don't have that, your character is like on a shoestring.
It's limited.
Because it's very limited. And once you become limited, you think about like any future commercials or anything like that, you would only be if somebody did a horror movie and they said, we want you guys to be in it. You see what I'm saying? It was like, other than that, you're very stagnant.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, I'm grateful because it was something I wanted to do as a teenager. Oh my gosh, man, people. Oh my, hold on. Man,
You're all right.
people.
You're all right.
So
Lost him for a second.
Yep. We'll have him back.
So you guys still there?
Yep, we're here.
We're here.
So yeah. So that's pretty much, how things went for me. And and after wrestling, I did a couple of different things on television, a couple appearances here and there. And of course, I've been traveling the country for 20 years, speaking at schools on respect and bullying. And I wrote a book, big message short story. So that was pretty much that. And then now I'm working with special need athletes, and I got a couple other projects that I'm working on. So I'm just just living life after wrestling, which I lived life after and before wrestling. Because I didn't never want to be that guy. It's like people go in the military, they do 20 years, and they leave that military, they're done. They did their 20 years, and they service something else. They get into another world of their life, and I find a lot of wrestlers don't know how to become another. It's like they're stuck in that. This is all I do. This is all I know.
Yeah, right.
And when a lot of them superstars, see, they didn't diversify themselves as like The Rock did. And that's and his ex-wife, which was his management company, and she still works. She still does some things with him, and she was brilliant to help guide him into who the guy he is today. Not all the wrestlers are charismatic, like that he's a different breed. He's a totally different breed because he doesn't have to try as hard as some of the other ones that got into acting. They have to try real hard because their acting game is it's not next level. It's more of their name than their their skill set.
Right.
So but you got you just find a niche, I guess. I mean, you got a springboard. You got a name out there. Everybody knows who you are. You kind of like springboard off of that. And don't put yourself in a situation where surgery after surgery after surgery after surgery. Like, is there what good does it do? You got all this money, but you can't walk.
Right.
Yeah.
Who wants that? That's no fun.
That's true. I mean, look at Lex Luger now. Remember, I mean, dear Lord.
And like,
even
remember,
look like the same guy.
Right. And the thing about it, that's the guy I met, here in Florida when he was first starting out, the total package. And then like And when you look, like, oh man, God bless you, man. If you go back in hindsight, would you want to relive that totally, or would you want to have gone about this a different way? I'm pretty sure probably a different way, because, that's, treacherous. It's critical.
Right. So why don't you let the listeners, and I guess we're on YouTube this episode.
Yeah,
so
I plan
the
on putting
viewers
this on
know,
YouTube as well.
Where all can they find you so they can connect with you, get a copy of your book?
They can connect with me. Basically, Google Chris Hollyfield, ChrisHollyField. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I don't tweet much at all, but I'm on all these outlets, social media outlets, under my real name, Chris Hollyfield. And yeah, you can. Even my email is Chris Hollyfield, the number 1 at yahoo.com. So it's pretty much, people look up Chris Hollyfield and they can find me, inbox me via Instagram or Facebook, and got a question, you want to say hi, say hi. I'm a easy person to kind of, I'm not one of those guys. Oh no, I'll say hi, but I'm not gonna say we're gonna talk every single day. But I'm not a prima donna to where I can't have a conversation with you, because I was still born Chris Hollyfield before the little boogeyman. So you have to remember and stay humble on your success and what you've done, but you still gotta like, there's people that may look up to you or be a fan, and you try not to disappoint anybody. I mean, I can't make everybody happy, but I'm a pretty easygoing guy for the most part, because it's just who I am. It's in my DNA. I wrestled, yes. I entertained, yes. Am I a wrestler? No, because it's a difference. For me, it's a difference, because wrestlers never let that go.
Well, it sounds like you've been doing more amazing things out of the ring than you did in the ring, and you had an amazing career in the ring, it sounds like. So it sounds like you're living your best life.
Outside of COVID, yes.
Well, that's. I mean, we all got to do that.
I think none of us are living our best life right now. Although, I mean, I started podcasting after COVID, so maybe I'm living my best life right now.
yeah, because everything is internet right now anyway. Everything is internet. And so with that being said, this is like, this is where we're at now, So I'm just here trying to make a difference. I'm different to make a difference.
All right. Well, I think what we're going to do now is we're going to try to get some books into some people's hands. Okay. So here's what you got to do. If you're listening to the podcast or if you're watching the YouTube channel, all you need to do is go to the Rage and Blaze Show on Facebook, or if you find we're going to advertise this episode. If you find this post on one of the wrestling sites or the podcast sites, all you have to do is like it, share it, and subscribe to the Rage and Blaze Show on and that's all you have to do. We will find out who those people are, and I'd say we'll give it a week. After we promote this, we're going to give it a week, and we're going to give away some books. How's that sound?
It's good stuff. Good stuff.
So we're going to get these books in the listeners' hands. Would you be willing to autograph these books for these people?
No problem.
That'd be awesome. So you're going to get an autographed copy of the book, and the name of the book is?
Big Message Short Story.
Big Message Short Story. And anybody can find this book on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, right?
Not Barnes & Noble, but Amazon.
Just Amazon. I apologize. I thought.
No, because I self-published.
He sent me a link. Okay.
I self-published.
Oh,
I'm an author, man.
So you are a publisher, a wrestler, an actor. I mean, a trainer. This man does it all. He doesn't know boundaries. He does something. He likes it. He does it, and he's living his best life. And,
exactly.
And you're telling you're sending a message out there about anti-bullying.
Yes.
Would you like to tell the viewers
let's
about
talk about that.
Well, I've been speaking for 20 years on bullying ever since Columbine. After I saw what happened in Columbine in 1999, I was like, wow, man. Chris, you like to talk. You have a couple stories. You need to spread your message around. And it's not like I got punked all my life or anything. We've all gone through something. And
I kind of did, so I support this.
I take that. I've taken that and just ran with it. And then as I became more popular through television and things of that nature, I just kept running with it, because now not only did I have a message in the beginning, now I have a platform. I have a platform to bounce off of. It's like now, first it was just Chris Hollyfield speaking with the Got Respect Tour anti-bully program, but it's like former WWE wrestler, star, the little Boogeyman, known as Chris Hollyfield, so it gives you that oomph. So when people are asking you about your tour and when it comes down to negotiating your costs and stuff, you're not just that regular guy now. Right. You got that little extra now. So it's like you got to pay a little extra. So and it's like your degree of life. Some people have 20 years experience in something, and that's their degree. It may not be on paper, but that's their degree. They put the work in.
Right. So you've been talking about anti-bullying before you even got into WWE. You've been doing
Yes.
this a long time.
Long time. Yes. So yeah, I tried to get passion. I tried to get in with the WWE afterwards with their Heroes Be a Star program, and I couldn't get them to bite. But hey, such as and I know that my story would be a better fit than, and nothing against none of the other guys, but it's hard to look at Randy Orton or Mark Henry, these guys that are 6-something muscle bound, to say like, when I was a kid, that's a far way for people to look at when they're looking at what they see right now.
Right.
When they look at me, they can see like, wow, you didn't grow, period. You're you know what I'm saying? You're like that. You're this is who you are, and they can see that.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially because they've surpassed you in height. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
A fourth grader surpassed you. Sure, my son, he's 8 years old and he's taller than me.
Oh,
so when you see, when you see that, the story sinks in.
Right.
Sheamus and one of these big old guys come to your school, say, hey guys, let me tell you something about bullying. It's like they're in awe, but then they can't see inside of, maybe because you're a redhead that, you might have got picked on, but they can't really see that because all they see is this big old muscle bound guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Throwing other people around in the ring. So they can't see like, oh man, you didn't get picked on. I saw you body slam the Big Show, and they don't see that. It's not a go home and speak up, tell your parents about what's going on with you. It's go home and say, guess who came to my school? Sheamus. Blah, blah, blah. What did he talk about? He's just big. He's muscular. It's not like, oh, this is what happened. Even if he has a story, do they really take that and run with it and go tell me? Kids go home and tell, because I've had parents hit me up through Messenger and stuff like, hey, thanks for coming to my child's school. My child has gone through being bullied, and you made him feel better about himself. And see, you get those because they can see, they can feel and grasp that situation.
Wow.
So yeah, it's passionate to me. Because again, I just like making a difference.
And it sounds like you are.
I just like to make a difference. I have fun with it. I have fun with it, and when I'm having fun, I'm at my best. I'm having my best time, just because to put smiles on people's faces and high fives and embracing, hugging, and fist pumps and stuff like that. It's like it's all people want, man. That's all we want. You know, that's all we want. I mean, we have a wish list, but all we want is just people, you know, love me and love you back. That's it. That's all.
Good deal. Yeah. All right. Well, it's been great having you. This has been an amazing interview. I think we could go on all day if we had the time.
We could. Oh man, I could tell you some. We can go for weeks.
So I guess before we close this out, I'd like to know: is there anything else, any other message, maybe a question we haven't asked you that you'd like to get out there before we finish this off?
I guess at the end of the day, I just want people to hold on tight. I know it's some low times in all of our lives and depressing times with this COVID-19 not having any answers and people being laid off, you know, businesses shutting down because this is hard to come back from. But just stay blessed, stay righteous, and you know, love who you are, and understand that, you know, someday, sometime, I don't know when, well, we will get around this. It may not go back to normal, what we're used to being normal, but hopefully it'll get better than what it is right now. And God bless, man. And I love you guys. And, you know, reach out, Chris Hollyfield. You Google that guy. I'm sure you'll find him, you know, and if you can't, just look in low places. I'm sure you'll see me.
There you go, man. All right. Well, this has been Chris Hollyfield on the Rage and Blaze show. And like he said, man, God bless everybody. Be safe out there. And I'm Rage.
And I'm Blaze.
And I'm the little boogeyman. And I'm coming to get you.
All right, guys. Take it easy.
Take care, man. God bless.
God bless.
And here is your winners, and still podcast tag team champions of the world,
The Rage and Blaze Show.
Thank you for listening.